Everyone wishes they knew where the stock market was going to go next. What sector is going to rally? When is the next market sell off? When is the best time to put your money to work? And that is one of the questions that most people strive for their entire life. Now, nothing is perfect. You cannot predict the future, but if you follow something close enough, you can get a good feeling of where it's headed next based on what it has recently been doing. Now, if we look at the SP500 daily chart here, you can see that I've got two moving averages on here, the 50-day and the 20-day moving average. Now, when prices above these moving averages in general and they're sloping upwards, that means the market is most likely going to continue to trend higher. The trend is up. As the saying goes, the trend is your friend. Now, when they are sloping down and, for example, prices below them and maybe the 20-day moving average is below the 50-day, that's telling us that there's actually kind of a mixed market signal and that the market is struggling and the market just might be actually starting a new downtrend. And that's what we're seeing in the markets right now. We've seen the market break below the moving averages. They've rallied up and hit their head on those moving averages as resistance, and then they've sold back down, and now they've rallied back up again just this week to hit that resistance area. Now, when you look at the chart, it gives you a good idea. We're making a series of lower highs and lower lows, and that means, we are in a short-term downtrend. But is this market about to start a new rally, or is it going to roll over and continue to move down? That's the big question. Now, if we were to use some technical analysis, we could apply cycle analysis to this. Now, on the bottom here, we've got my cycles. More or less, wherever there's a cluster or green bars, that is when we are hitting some short-term cycle lows in the market. And when this cycle analysis is red, that means the market has lost its upward momentum. We are now trending to the downside. And we have these cycle highs where we get these clusters of red. You can see here we've got a red cycle high, we've got another red cycle high. And when cycles align with resistance levels on the chart, we can tend to see the market roll over and pull back. But we can take things one step further. We can apply just some basic time cycles, going from some of these critical standout lows on the chart. You can see above, we got these very critical consolidations and pullbacks on the chart. We can see these cycle lows below as well. And you can see how the market is rallying up based on this lower cycle. And we get into an overbought territory, a cycle high. We got into another overbought territory, another cycle high over here. And most likely we're going to see this market struggle. It could chop around for some more time. We might actually see it, roll over, put in a cycle low if this will draw on the chart. Put in another cycle low, maybe a lower low here, and then maybe it's going to start to rally up, and maybe it'll start a new uptrend later once this new cycle from down here starts. So that's kind of what we would be looking for. So we've got this falling trend line here. We need to see price start to break through. Maybe it's going to trade sideways and pop through that, but that's kind of what we are looking for right now. The trend is neutral or down in a short-term basis, and now we need to see if that's going to break. Now, if we were to break this daily chart down to a little more granular and look at the 30-day or 30-minute chart, this is the 30-minute intraday chart, zooming back all the way to February, we can kind of see the markets when we get in these lime green areas. These are cycle lows in the market. And then when we get into some shaded red areas, like over here, this is where we are now, we get into an overbought cycle high. We actually had another type of cycle high over here, which you can see with this indicator up in this field telling us, hey, we are in a level now that the market is giving us one of these cycle highs. This is where we had a cycle high and people were moving in. And so when we get into these levels, typically the market's going to want to sell off and move lower. And so that's kind of what we're keeping our eyes on. Over the next few trading sessions, we are going to find out if this market here is going to build a base and start to go higher over the next several trading days, or is it going to break down and potentially collapse and have a much deeper correction? And that's the thing. No one knows if this market's going to continue to go higher or correct. Keep in mind, we are in a bull market. In most cases, when the market gives us these kind of mixed signals, they are really just a pause or a pullback within an uptrend, and they will resolve to the upside fairly quickly. Now, this one's a little bit bigger, and if this was to be a repeat of what the COVID crash kind of did, we would see the market, completely crash and break down from here, and that is a possibility. And that's why you need to manage positions and risk really well, because this could happen, or we could start another massive, 20 or 30% rally in the stock market. And it's all about managing positions. And right now, when you're in a bull market, you generally don't want to be shorting the market. You're better to sit in cash, trade on the sidelines, because it's going to chop and trade sideways here for potentially a few days or a few weeks. Eventually, when it starts to break to a new uptrend, the momentum is back to the upside. The moving averages are all moving higher, prices above those, and we have a cycle low. That can be an opportunity to get into the market. And all that could unfold over the next several days, and the market starts a new uptrend, and really then it could be purchased and we could see another big move going forward. So that's kind of what we're looking for over the next couple of trading sessions or the next week and a half. Can this market carve out a bottom? It's probably going to be pretty volatile, and then we're going to potentially take advantage of the next move higher going forward. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight of what's going on with this market. Anyways, that's it for now. Take care. Bye-bye.